In theaters from Lionsgate is The Long Walk. This is Francis Lawrence's adaptation of Stephen King, writing as Richard Bachman's novel The Long Walk, which is about a long walk. Well, it's about 108 minutes, but it's about a long walk. The deal with this film is this: set in an alternate dystopian United States. And the way this film looks is a little odd. You can't quite pin down what the era is. My feeling on this is that like all the cars are old, so it looks like 60s or 70s in the terms of the cars, the clothes, the technology for the most part. My feeling is that this was either trying to be set when the Stephen King novel was originally written, or it was set in a dystopian US. It takes place after a major world war where the US was really financially set way, way back, and they're trying to get out of this financial depression, this slump. And it could also, my take was either that it was set when the novel was written, thus the clothes, the cars, and the tech, or it was set in an era not too far after something like that, where if you think about Cuba, where suddenly Cuba was sort of frozen in time and all the cars are like 50s, early 60s cars, even to this day, maybe that was the case where nothing new was being manufactured in the US, and that's why things look the way they look. So the concept is there's this dystopian future. Not going to tell you the whole story, although there's very little to this story. I said after we watched this that you really could call this movie Walking and Talking, and that would be what it is. The idea is that someone from a youth, male under the age of 18, I believe, is something like that, or an age range. I think you have to be like over 16, or you have to be 18 to 21, or something like that. Males all sort of put in voluntarily to be in this titular long walk. One is selected from every state, and basically they all start at point A, and they just keep walking until there's only one left. Now, the way there's only one left happens is if they all have these little monitors on their wrists that tell you how, I think, what your speed is and maybe how long you've walked at that point. And if you drop below 3 miles an hour, you get a warning. If you get 3 warnings, you get what they call a ticket, which is the form of a bullet to your body. If you try to run off the road, you immediately get a ticket. If you try to assault any of the military people that are monitoring and overseeing this thing, you get a ticket. So there are ways other than just, and if you stop walking, if you sit down. So all of these kids are going into this thing wanting to bring pride to their town, but also they keep saying you get more riches than you could ever imagine, and we will take care of any wish that you may have as soon as the race is over. So we get to know all of these guys, these kids, as they're walking along this long walk, and it's incredibly grim and disturbing because they say right up front, only one person's making it to the end of this. And it's not like they tap you out and they give you a Gatorade and put you in a tent. They tap you out. You're done, period. So all of these kids are going into this joking around and very hopeful and filled with youthful exuberance and hopes and dreams. And you look at them all knowing all but one of you is going to be dead by the end of this movie. So there's this pervasive sense of dread. The 2 leads in the film that we see the most of are Cooper Hoffman, Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, who's the heart and soul of this film. Right next to him is David Jonsson, who is excellent. And they are the 2 guys that you see up front the most. And it is their conversations and inner workings that come out through their conversations that really carry the film. I mean, you've got a bunch of other people who are very compelling. You have Ben Wang, who is in the most recent Karate Kid film. You've got Joshua Odjick. You got Jordan Gonzalez. You have Tut Nyarut. I'm mangling names, and many, many others, fewer as the film goes on. And you have Mark Hamill and Judy Greer as the basically the main adult leads. Judy Greer we see up front and then in the middle of the film as Cooper Hoffman's mother, who's very, very tortured about the idea of him entering this contest because she knows, like anybody with a brain, the chances are really good that she's never going to see her son again. Her son is doing it for very personal reasons that are revealed as the film goes on, but all of them basically are from less than comfortable financial situations, and they really want to pull their family and up out of poverty and do good things for people around them, or most of them seem to want to do that. Mark Hamill is the major, and he is the sinister aviator shades wearing military guy, not gruff but lovable, who basically lays down the law and occasionally will pop up and try to give motivation to these kids who are still walking. So it is just really, for the most part, full body or medium shots of these kids walking and talking for almost 2 hours. It was never boring. It was always riveting and fascinating, and it always had this. My gut was in a knot the whole time, because it really establishes that any of these kids can go at any time for innumerable reasons. The idea of that you never stop. The only way you stop walking is if you stop walking and your life is over in this film. So seeing the mania that sets in, and the delirium and the exhaustion and the physical maladies, and it does answer the question of what do you do when you need to go to the bathroom, and it's not always a pleasant or visually a pleasant answer in this film. I really enjoyed this. I did read the book in the scheme of things not that long ago, a couple of years ago. I don't remember all the details of the book. I just remember the concept of the book. I do know that some aspects of this are different. It does do something that I was very happy about. For the most part, you never really leave the kids. The movie just opens with Cooper Hoffman getting out of the car to start the race, or marathon, or whatever you want to call it. There are one or two moments where they flash back to his past. I was really hoping this movie wasn't going to do that for everybody, where it starts off with the race, and then all of a sudden we see all their other lives and all this nonlinear junk. It does a little bit to inform the story, but it didn't offend me at all. Really well done, really well made. I was having some debate with a friend as to how effective Mark Hamill was in the role. I thought he was okay in the role. It did kind of feel like it was somebody acting as that character, as opposed to us just seeing that character for me at times. But overall, I thought it was quite good, and certainly something to see in the theater, big and wide. Quite a good gripping film. Just maybe have a comedy or a candy bar ready after you watch The Long Walk.